Bucket List Racing presents The Races. The 28th edition of the Blue Ribbon Cup is a two-stage regatta from Kiel to Aarhus and back with approximately 140 nautical miles each. The first stint starts Wednesday night and leads the yachts from downtown Kiel past Laboe and Kiel Lighthouse towards Kelsnoor at the south tip of Langeland. The fleet then proceeds the Great Belt and through the bridge, leaving the islands of Fyn to port, Samsø to starboard and Tunø to port, before aiming for Aarhus to the finish line. On Saturday morning, the homebound stint starts just outside Aarhus Sailing Centre and takes the fleet south between Jutland and Samsø, rounding the island of Endelave to starboard. The yachts turn southwest towards Fredericia and Strip that mark the entrance to Lillebælt. Having passed Middelfart and Kolding, the course follows the Little Belt, leaving Fyn, Lyø and Ærø to port and Als to starboard. Finish line is at Kiel Lighthouse. The traditional offshore race round Gotland, in its 89th year, hosted by the Royal Swedish Yacht Club, starts at the outer Stockholm archipelago island of Sandhamn. After the first leg to Svenska Hugarna direction northeast, the fleet heads south towards Gotska Sandön and Gotland, leaving both islands to starboard. After rounding the southern cardinal buoy of Håburg Reef, the course leads north, passing a special mark just off the historical city of Visby, before aiming for Almagrundet Lighthouse. The last 10 miles lead towards the finish line at Sandhamn, completing a 350 nautical miles course. The 52nd edition of the biannual Rolex Fastnet race, hosted by the Royal Ocean Racing Club, sets off in Cowes, Isle of Wight, westward on the Solent. The fleet passes by the coastline of Dorset, Devon and Cornwall before crossing the Celtic Sea and rounding the famous Fastnet Rock off the Irish south coast. Yachts then return towards the Isles of Scilly and proceed east to the tidal waters of the Channel Islands and the Alderney races. The finish line in Cherbourg marks the end of this iconic 700 nautical mile offshore race. The Rock Channel race leads over approximately 170 nautical miles across the English Channel. From the start in Cowes in front of the Royal Yacht Squadron, the fleet heads eastward through the Solent. No Man's Land Fort and South Polar remain on starboard before a regatta mark on the southeast coast of the Isle of Wight is rounded to port. The yachts now take course towards Le Havre on the coast of Normandy and round the buoy A5. Then it goes back to the cardinal buoy Oas and from there to the finish line at Mother Bank in the Solent. The Rock Cherbourg race traditionally forms the conclusion of the annual regatta season in the English Channel. From the start, the fleet heads eastward out of the Solent, passing Snowdon Buoy and No Man's Land Fort. Bembridge Ledge Buoy remains to starboard, and now the course leads across the English Channel directly to Cherbourg. The finish line is at Fort de l'Est, at the eastern tip of the outer breakwater, and completes a 73 nautical miles racecourse. The Rock Transatlantic race starts in the first week of January from Arrecife on Lanzarote. Seeking the northeastern trade winds, the course first leads south near Cape Verde before the fleet then swerves on a more western course towards the Caribbean. The powerful trades and occasional squalls drive the yachts in front of them. At the southwestern tip of Grenada, Point Salinas is rounded and a 4-mile sprint leads to the finish line just off the capital, St. George's. Around 3,000 nautical miles are then completed with 4 time zones crossed. The 19th edition of the Rock Caribbean 600, organized by the Royal Ocean Racing Club in cooperation with the Antigua Yacht Club, is a long-distance regatta across the Northern Antilles. After the start in front of English Harbour on the south coast, it goes past the windward side of Antigua to Barbuda. There, the fleet turns southwest to the island of Nevis and further northwest around Saba. Yachts that head northeast to St. Barthélemy, which remains to port, and around St. Martin, which is left on starboard like a chicane. From there, it is about 170 miles south, past Antigua and Barbuda to Port and St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as Montserrat to starboard to the southern tip of Basse-Terre on Guadeloupe. After rounding the Les Saintes Island group, the islands of Marie-Galante, La Petite Terre and La Désirade are passed before the yachts sail north again to Barbuda. After a detour to Redonda, an upwind leg of about 35 miles leads back to the finish line at English Harbour. The Antigua-Bermuda race, organized by the Royal Bermuda Yacht Club and the Antigua Yacht Club, starts right after the Antigua Sailing Week from English Harbour. There are no mandatory race marks, so the yachts just follow their individual weather routing and sail the 935 nautical miles to Bermuda. The finish line is located outside St. George's Harbour at the northeastern tip of the island group. The 81st edition of the Block Island Race, organized by the Storm Trysail Club, starts at the end of May from Stamford, Connecticut. The 186 nautical miles course leads eastward, following the Long Island Sound between Plum Island and Fisher's Island to the green lateral buoy 1BI north of Block Island that remains to starboard. After rounding Block Island, the fleet follows the same way back through the Long Island Sound to the finish line in front of Stamford. The Newport Bermuda race is a 636-mile biennial regatta from Newport, Rhode Island to Bermuda. Established in 1906, it is the oldest regularly scheduled ocean race organized by the Cruising Club of America and the Royal Bermuda Yacht Club. Start is in the Jamestown Passage west of Newport, between Fort Adams and Fort Wetherill. Obeying the TSS rules, the course leads directly to Bermuda. Strategical decisions are affected by actual Gulf Stream models and wind predictions. What follows is more than 600 miles on the open ocean at a general course of 150 degrees. Having passed the shoals north of Bermuda, the yachts turn south towards the finish line at St. David's Lighthouse. The 51st edition of the Around Long Island Regatta, hosted by the Seacliff Yacht Club, takes place at the end of July. The start is at Ellis Island in New York Harbor, in the vicinity of the Statue of Liberty, the most impressive landmark. The course leads through the Verrazano Narrows Bridge and turns east in the Ambrose Channel at the lateral buoy 14. Along the Atlantic coast of Long Island, the yachts sail well over 105 miles to Montauk Point, where the fleet enters the Long Island Sound. After another 95 miles on a western course, the finish line is reached at Glen Cove. The 55 nautical miles round the island race around Martha's Vineyard, organized by the Edgartown Yacht Club, celebrates its 95th anniversary. From the start outside the capital Edgartown, the course leads clockwise around the island in direction northeast. A southward leg along the coast of Chappaquiddick Island is followed by a west course to Scribnocket Point. The fleet then heads into the Vineyard Sound for the northern tip of the island. The final sprint of around 10 miles brings the yachts back to the finish line in Edgartown. In the Gulf of Maine, the annual Monhegan Island Race, organized by the Portland Yacht Club, takes place at the beginning of August. The 140-mile race starts in Casco Bay, east of Portland. The first course leads south along the Maine coast to the island of Boone. This remains to port, and the fleet turns northeast in the direction of Monhegan Island. After rounding the lateral buoy Duck Rocks 5, yachts turn back towards Portland to the finish line at Ship Cove. The annual Vineyard Race, inaugurated in 1932, takes place on Labor Day weekend and marks the end of the New England racing season. The 238-mile regatta, hosted by the Stamford Yacht Club, starts at the lateral buoy 32, the Cows, and leads along the Long Island Sound through the passage between Plum Island and Fisher's Island. After rounding Buzzards Bay Lighthouse, Block Island remains on starboard before the yachts return to the Long Island Sound. The finish line is at Stamford Harbor. The Southern Ocean Racing Conference, short SORC, is a winter series in Florida waters with one race per month from November to February. The first stage of the series is the Sailor's Choice Race in November off Port Everglades. The course leads south to the approach Miami Light Buoy M, which remains to port. From there, the fleet sails northeast to a virtual mark about 16 miles off the coast of Florida. The yachts then turn northwest to the approach of the Hillsborough Inlet that is also left to port. Finally, it goes back south to the finish line outside Port Everglades for a total of 70 nautical miles. At the beginning of December, the second stage of the series, the Worth-Monroe race, sets off in Miami. Along the coast of Florida, the fleet sails north towards Palm Beach. The finish line in front of the inlet marks the end of this 60 nautical mile race. The third stage, the Lauderdale Key West race, starts in January from Port Everglades. The course leads south to the Miami approach that remains to starboard, and from there follows the island chain of the Florida Keys to the Key West approach. The finish line is located between the lateral buoys 21 and 23 and completes a 160 nautical miles race. The end of the series is the Nassau Cup Ocean Race in February. The start takes place near the Miami approach, and the fleet then crosses the Gulf Stream towards the Bahamas. The only race marks, the islands of Great Isaac and Great Stirrup Cay, remain to starboard before the yachts swing south and set course for the finish line outside Nassau. Around 180 nautical miles are then sailed. The California Offshore Race Week, organized by the Encinal Yacht Club, the Monterey Peninsula Yacht Club, the St. Francis Yacht Club, the Santa Barbara Yacht Club, and the San Diego Yacht Club, is a regatta series consisting of 3 races along the Californian coast, which is sailed annually at the end of May. The Spinnaker Cup is the 85-mile opener and starts outside St. Francis Yacht Club in San Francisco in the vicinity of the Golden Gate Bridge. The course leads out to the open Pacific and south into Monterey Bay to the finish line in front of the Monterey Peninsula Yacht Club. It continues with the 204 nautical mile Coaster Cup. After the start outside Monterey, the yachts set course for Point Pinos to get back to the open ocean. The fleet then turns south and southeast behind Point Sur in the direction of the Santa Barbara Channel. There, the yachts alter course eastward to the finish line in front of the Santa Barbara Yacht Club. The SoCal 300 is the last stage and has a length of 245 nautical miles. After the start outside Santa Barbara, the island of Santa Cruz is left to port. The fleet then heads for the special buoy Odas 46047 in a southern direction that also remains to port. Another 120 miles east, the yachts cross the finish line at the San Diego Yacht Club. The Trans-Pacific Yacht Race, short Transpac, is one of the most famous ocean races in the Pacific. Inaugurated in 1906, this is the 55th edition of the 2,225 nautical miles race from Los Angeles to Hawaii, hosted by the Trans-Pacific Yacht Club. After the start at Point Fermin, the island of Catalina, as the only compulsory race mark remains to port. In order to escape the unstable wind conditions near the coast, the fleet quickly sails west. The exact position of the Pacific High, which is usually on the direct courseline, is decisive for the further route. In general, yachts take the southern detour to quickly reach the trades. These and occasional squalls drive the fleet towards Hawaii. On the way to the finish line at Diamond Head off Honolulu on the island of Oahu, the course leads through the Molokai Channel, known for its strong winds and high seas. Since 1938, the Sydney-Auckland race, hosted by the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia and the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, has been held at irregular intervals. From the start at the Sydney Heads, it leads over 1,000 nautical miles east to the northern tip of New Zealand's North Island. The course across the Tasman Sea is based on actual wind and current models and the individual weather routing of each participant. At North Cape, the fleet turns southeast and finally south to the Hauraki Gulf. The finish line of this approximately 1,275-mile-long regatta is located outside Auckland Harbour. The annual Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race starts on Boxing Day in Sydney Harbour and leads through the heads out to the Pacific Ocean. The fleet turns south along the coast of New South Wales and Victoria before crossing vicious Bess Strait. The yachts then pass the east coast of Tasmania and turn west at Cape Pila. The way up Derwent River is the final sprint before the finish line in Hobart and completes a 630 nautical miles racecourse. The Melbourne to King Island race, organized by the Ocean Racing Club of Victoria in cooperation with the King Island Boat Club, takes place every year at the beginning of March. From the start at Queenscliff to the heads of Port Phillip Bay, the course passes the heads exclusion zone and the pilot boarding zone into Bass Strait, which is crossed directly. The finish line is outside the port of Grassy on the southeast coast of King Island to complete this 150 nautical mile race. The Adelaide to Port Lincoln race, hosted by the Port Lincoln Yacht Club in cooperation with the Royal South Australian Yacht Squadron, takes place every year in February and is the prelude to the Lincoln Regatta series. From the start in the vicinity of Port Adelaide, the course leads southwest out from the Gulf St. Vincent. Along the south coast of the Yorke Peninsula, yachts sail into the Spencer Gulf. After rounding Cape Donington, the finish line waits in front of Port Lincoln and completes a 150 nautical miles race. The annual Pittwater to Coffs Harbour yacht race, hosted by the Royal Prince Alfred Yacht Club, starts in March from Pittwater. After passing the Barrenjoey Lighthouse, the course leads to the open Pacific, where the yachts swing north. Then the fleet sails along the coast of New South Wales to the finish line outside Coffs Harbour for a total distance of about 248 nautical miles. Every year at the end of June, the Noakes Sydney Gold Coast Yacht Race, organised by the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia, takes place. After the start, the course leads from Sydney Harbour through the heads out into the Tasman Sea. The fleet then turns north and sails along the coast of New South Wales past Newcastle and Coffs Harbour all the way up to Queensland. The finish line is outside Southport on the Gold Coast and marks the end of a 348 nautical miles offshore race. Initiated in 1971, this is the only long-distance regatta in the South Atlantic. The 20th edition of the Cape to Rio race, held every 4 years from Cape Town, South Africa to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, is about 3,300 nautical miles long. From the start in Table Bay, the participants first sail free from the South African coast and then continue on a northerly course. In search of the southeastern trade winds and to avoid the South Atlantic high, yachts proceed as high as 20 degrees south latitude before the fleet sets course west towards the Brazilian coast. The finish line is in Guanabara Bay off Rio. The Rolex Ciralia, a 205-mile regatta from the Côte d'Azur to the Italian Riviera and organized by the Yacht Club Italiano, the Société Nautique de Saint-Tropez and the Yacht Club de France, is annually held in June. From the start in the vicinity of Saint-Tropez, the yachts go on an easterly course of about 120 miles to the northern tip of Corsica. After rounding the rock island of Ciralia, the fleet turns north. In about 85 miles, the fleet reaches the finish line just outside Genoa. The Aegean 600, organized by the Hellenic Offshore Racing Club, is an offshore regatta of about 605 nautical miles. The 10th edition starts from Olympic Marina, south of Athens, through the Aegean Sea. After the start, the course leads south to the Cyclades. Via Paximadi, it passes a gate at the Santorini Caldera, which is crossed between Santorini to port and Tirasia to starboard. Afterwards, the course runs via Kassos and Karpathos to Rhodes. Along the eastern Aegean islands, narrow passages follow at Nisyros, Kos and Samos, before passing another gate at Mykonos and Delos. Via the island of Kea, the course finally leads back to the finish line. The 26th edition of the annual Palermo-Monte Carlo, organized by the Circolo della Vela Sicilia and the Yacht Club de Monaco, in cooperation with the Yacht Club Costa Smeralda, takes place in August. From the start in front of Palermo on the north coast of Sicily, the course leads northwest towards Sardinia. After crossing the Strait of Bonifacio, the yachts sail north along the Corsican coast and across the Ligurian Sea to the finish line of Monte Carlo. The annual Rolex Middle Sea race, in its 63rd year, organized by the Royal Malta Yacht Club in cooperation with the Royal Ocean Racing Club, marks the end of the Mediterranean racing season and starts in October from Malta's capital, Valletta. The course leads northeast and along the Sicilian coast to the Strait of Messina. The volcanic island of Stromboli is rounded to port. Then the fleet heads west, passing Palermo and the Egadi Islands. The yachts then turn south, leaving Pantelleria to port and further on to Lampedusa. The new course leads back to Malta through the South Comino Channel. The finish line in Valletta completes this 606 nautical mile race. The biannual Pantenius Round Skagen marks the end of Nordseewoche, a traditional race series around the North Sea island of Helgoland on Pentecost weekend. Start is on Whit Monday in the late afternoon. The fleet heads north, leaving the North Frisian Islands and the western cardinal buoy of Horns Rev to starboard, passing the west coast of Jylland and across Jammerbucht before rounding the northern cardinal buoy of Skagen Rev. The yachts then turn south, passing the Danish islands of Læsø, Anholt and Samsø, before aiming for the Great Belt Bridge and along Langeland. The last 25 miles lead from Kelsnor via Kiel Lighthouse to the finish line at the Olympic Center of Schilksee, with a total of approximately 500 nautical miles.